chapel there, the shrine, is fancier than this one, but the idea is the same thing. There's a door back here. Sometimes you have to challenge to figure out how it opens. For me, a door is something that opens like that. That one in there opens like that, but this you gotta open like that. And who knows what this is? What's this called? This piece. Even Jacob, if you know this, it's called a luna, because it kind of, yeah. A lot of them are like shaped like half. Like this is not so obvious, but they're shaped half. They're just meant to hold the host, and they kind of look like the moon, so it's called luna. So you see, what happens is this part here opens like that, and the consecrated host gets put in there, and then that gets closed, and then this fits in here, and for adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, the host is exposed. So this is a monstrance, inside of it is a luna. So when someone says monstrance or luna, now you know what they're talking about. Keep in mind, not all of these things look the same. The best example is the shrine, right? The chapel. The monstrance there looks very different, but it's the function it performs. There's another word for monstrance you don't hear too much anymore. Anybody know what it is? Jacob, do you know that one? Sometimes it's called an ostensorium. That's also another name for this thing. But that one's not as common, right? An ostensorium. Rita, you and I probably remember Austin, maybe when you were Baptist, you knew that monstrance in the Baptist church. Both of these are ciborium. And we got both of these out again to underscore the fact that they don't have to look the same. Right? The one in the tabernacle right now looks different yet. But these are designed to be stacked. So this one would fit, if you had like 3 of these, you could stack them all on top of each other and easily carry them all at once. That's the purpose for this design. But you take the lid off and you see the inside. All of these sacred vessels, they're all called sacred vessels, and they're supposed to be lined with precious metal. Okay? So this is all gold inside here, gold plated, precious metal, because it holds the consecrated host, the body of our Lord. Yeah. That's really gold, yes. This is real gold. It's not very thick, but it's really gold. And that's why we have to keep them locked up, because there are bad people who would break in here and steal this for the few dollars they could get for it. So that's why this is the sacristy. When you get here and the sacristan is not here, it's locked for that reason. These sacred vessels are made out of usually precious metals, and so out of respect, because of what they hold, you lock them up, and because people will steal them. So this is one kind of ciborium. This is the kind that often you see the minister giving out communion during Mass. This is also a ciborium, but it's a little bit different. You see also the inside is gold. They both have lids. This is the one that Father Sebastian uses during Mass, right, Leslie? Is this the one he uses during Mass? Is this one?
Right now we use it.
He uses that one? Okay.
We do pewter during ordinary.
It's like Christmas time and Easter time, right? This is so during those high liturgical seasons like Christmas and Easter, we use the fancier versions of what we have. So, but again, this is also a ciborium. Mentioned before a pyx, and a pyx is really like a mini ciborium. So if somebody is going to, after Mass, go visit somebody in the hospital or homebound, bring communion to the sick because they can't come here, there is a special little, it's a miniature one of these. It's got a lid, the inside. Now this one is not gold. This one just looks like bronze or brass or something like that, but it's golden in color. And this is just a size so you could fit, well, certainly one host, maybe you could fit 5 in here, stack them up so if somebody's going to the hospital. And there are a little bit bigger ones of these. And it has a lid that snaps so that, okay, let's say after Mass I'm going to go visit the hospital. I could take this now, put it in my pocket, and it won't open up. It's clicked shut. Now normally what I even do beyond this, you may have seen some of the people who do this, they have this little black case that's called a burse. It goes in, it's like a wallet, what it is. It goes inside the burse that gets either snapped or zipped or something. So again, and it has a rope to hang it, or a cord to hang it around your neck, so it's not in the same pocket with your keys. You've got to be practical about it, but at the same time you're carrying something precious, something sick, the most precious thing we have. You're carrying Jesus himself to a sick person. So the important thing is that you treat it with the reverence that you would treat, you literally have God around your neck or God in your pocket. You carry the Eucharist with you. So the most sacred thing you could think of is how we handle this. But again, these comes in, this is a little one. They have bigger ones. They have very fancy decorated ones. A lot of the people who visit the hospitals have their own. Edmund, do you have your own that probably a little bit fancier than this? I have several of them, right? I've got, a couple were given to me as ordination presents, and I had a bigger one. One of them was a bigger one that could hold maybe 50 hosts or something like that. So, but this is the pyx. And you'll see at the end of Mass, you'll see after communion, the priest or deacon will take one of the hosts, put it in here, and leave it on the altar because the person going to the hospital will come by and get it. If they're not right after Mass, if they're not, it goes in the tabernacle and it gets stored. If they want to go for coffee, for example, we won't leave this on the altar where anybody can take it, but we'll take it and lock it in the tabernacle. And then when they're finished with their coffee at the Family Life Center, then they'll come back and they'll take it and they go directly to the person they're bringing the communion to. You don't go to Lowe's or Publix or something first. They go directly. Okay. Without complicating matters for holy water, right? I think, let's just keep life simple. This is the bucket, okay? And this is the sprinkler. Okay? The right name for the sprinkler is what? The aspergillium, I think it is. And what's the name for is this the asperges or something like that? There's, fancy, but aspergillium is this thing. And okay, what's the root? We could analyze that word. I never analyzed that word, aspergillium. It comes from something or other that very descriptive words, like Luna. Oh, hi, Hunter.
Hi, Andrew.
Okay. So if you're, where's Christina? Christina's out there. We'll see if we want to do anything with this today, because there are a couple of other things that we'll talk about first.
Deacon Smith,
Yeah.
you mentioned about how most things that hold or have something to do with Jesus have to be made or lined with precious metal. Is that why that is so heavy? That cross?
No, that's just heavy because it's big and it's made out of metal. That's not a sacred vessel. That doesn't carry any of the Eucharist or anything like that. It's just heavy. It's very heavy. Well, the base is very heavy. Now, I hope you don't mind me telling this, Celine, but remember one day when you were very little, remember I had to catch you because you held it up and this thing was going over and it was taking you with it, and I doesn't tip. So the base has to be, this is just physics, right? The base has to be heavier than this so that when you put this on, it won't fall over easily. Like if the base weighed as much as Celine did back then if this thing tipped, it would go right over. You remember that day, right? Okay. Two things here. We mentioned the cruet. This is the cruet. Yeah. Cruet and flagon. That's right. Now, if you're holding the cruet, you're a server, right? That's for all of us, we're all servants. Servants serve somebody. In this case, when you're bringing up, this would hold the water, or we have a little one like this for the wine. Right? Well, who are you serving? You're serving the priest or the deacon. One thing I often see is that you come up like this, and you put your finger in so far that I've seen where it's kind of gotten stuck. So I have to hold it, and you're like that. Now, the proper way to hold this is, and when I was an altar boy, we put the left hand like that, and we held it with this handle facing the person we were going to serve it to. Okay? So that they could easily take it, pour it, and then hand it back to you. Okay? If you go up to the person like this, they have to unhook it from you, and that's just not the way. This is the right way to do it. Okay? And again, you're a servant. So one thing you never do is you never get it, put it on the altar, and go back to your seat. Okay? Servants stay there. So if you know the priest or the deacon is going to need the water, you come up and you stand there holding the cruet with the handle facing the person. Okay? Okay. It's the same thing with this. You want to hold this in a way like this so that the person that's going to pour, the priest or the deacon, can get that handle. That means you need to also have this off, right? Because otherwise I have to take it off. So again, a lot of times somebody hands me this. And so what I have to do is take this off and hand it back to you. You're confused, why am I giving this to you? You know, I'm giving it to you because I don't need this. It can just go over here. And you hold it like this so the person can take it, pour, and then hand it back to you. That, okay? When you get this out of the way soon.
You're never supposed to place it on the altar.
That's what I said that, right.
Even with the flagon.
Even with the flagon, that's right. Even with the flagon, you stand there, you're the server, so you stand there and you hold it for the person until they take it. And what happened, now, I don't think it's any of you, but like what happens sometimes, but you can tell your fellow servers when you see them do this. Sometimes they hand it to me, and then they go, like this is for the purification at the end of Mass. They'll put the water on the altar and walk away. You're not supposed to do that. Right? You stand there and hold it until I take it. Or then I take it, and then they go back to their seat. You know? And I said, no, you stand there until I use it, and I'll hand it back to you. So you're supposed to be, if you watch what any of us are doing, if you watch what I'm doing, I'm being attentive to what's happening during the Mass. That's my job to do that, so that things could flow properly. And it's your job to do the same thing. You see, what we're supposed to be trying to foster here is a very reverent, prayerful atmosphere. People are supposed to be in a prayerful mood. The way you do that is liturgy needs to flow as smoothly as possible. There should be no unnecessary motion. There should be what we were, talking about with the, in the other room there with the jittering or the not paying attention, because all of that, and this especially That's what? What's the cincture? The rope. People twirl it. Don't twirl it. You don't twirl your cincture. You sit there. You have to be conscious about this, because all of us, me too. If I stop thinking about what I was doing, I probably too, just kind of make myself comfortable. But you got to be aware that you're serving now. You're acting as a servant. So you have to sit properly. And if you're fidgeting and somebody is reading and you're fidgeting, what's happening? You're distracted. Well, you're drawing attention to yourself. That's right. And I don't mean in a bad way or something that you're doing something bad, but if people are their eyes, somebody is standing here reading, if you're fidgeting, they're going to look at you because they're just human nature. Their eye is going to be turned toward the motion. You're right. They should be ignoring and paying attention, but it's our job not to make a distraction, right? Not to make somebody not pay attention because of something that I'm doing. Yeah.
Why do you always put like those gold things on the chair, on one of the chairs, and over there on the table, like underneath where I see like the gold things wooden on it?
When we put what?
This truck.
Oh, that's somebody wanted to memorialize a loved one maybe in honor of someone who died, so they bought the piece of furniture, and some places like us put little plaques with names on it to remember that person. So there's a pew back there that has my brother-in-law's name on it because he died very young. So my wife went and had a pew memorialized, and it has his name on it. Just like probably many of you have your name on one of those bricks over there, your family does, whatever. It's the same kind of idea.
I think what's so awesome is there's one on there too.
Yes.
The color family.
Yeah, there's two here.
Yeah,
Emily
one on
and
the
Robert
bench.
Wells. And I can't read that one.
The one that, or
Or
kneeling.
nailing. See,
Yeah,
again,
kneeling when you're supposed to kneel, yeah, right.
what are you guys? You are altar servers. To be a server, what do you need to be? You need to be attentive. You've got to be right there. If you're off sitting and someone needs something, well, you're not going to be able to fulfill your role as a server because you're far away, or somebody's going to have to come looking for you. So you're supposed to be right there, primarily assisting the priest. So for you to assist the priest, you need to be close to the priest and standing, again, not fidgeting, not jittering, not drawing attention to yourself. When we mentioned that if you were asked for a purificator, this is a purificator. And this one is always here. Okay? It's always sitting here next to this. This is called the ablution cup. It's filled with water, as it is now. I better be careful. And what that's for are for two things. Ablution is it purifies the fingers of the person giving out communion. So I noticed Deacon Angel, he uses that. When he's finished giving out communion, he dips his fingers in there. He dries them on this purificator. What I tend to do is I purify my fingers at the altar with some water, to wash any crumbs off. Okay, but this is also used in case somebody drops a host, and it was on the ground. Maybe somebody doesn't want to consume it. They hold it and they put it in here, and it dissolves. And then this water is not spilled down an ordinary sink. There's a special sink in the back called the sacrarium. It doesn't go into the septic system or the sewer or anything. It goes into this ground that a church is on is consecrated ground. This church was a long time ago when it was built, blessed, consecrated by the bishop. So the ground is holy ground, and that sink drains right into the dirt, right into the ground below the church. Okay, so that's how we dispose of this water when we need to. That's not your job. That's the sacristan's job. But I'm just telling you so you know. Okay. But this purificator, if anybody, a priest, a deacon, a minister of communion says, I need a purificator, you run over and get this thing, which was always right here. Okay?
Can we show them how the altar should get set?
Yes, that's what we're gonna, when I clear all this out, he's gonna even take a picture and post it on the inside door of their closet there so that they can always look and see what the altar is supposed to look like when it's set up. The only other thing I want to show you, oh, okay, thank you. This is the corporal that we were talking about. Okay? I purposely made sure that this one has just been laundered, so there's no chance that there is a special way you have to wash these. You can't wash them just like you throw them in your laundry with other things, because this could hold, precious blood, wine stains, the precious blood stains. It could hold crumbs from the Eucharist that bread has crumbs and so forth. And this is the crumb catcher. So this one has been laundered recently, so I know for sure there are no crumbs in here, which is why I could show you. When you set this up, and there's going to be two ways you set this up. One is for Mass with only a priest, and another is when a deacon is present, because it's the job of the deacon to set up the altar. Okay? It's your job to bring everything up and put it down, and we're going to do that so you can see how it's supposed to look. And if there's a deacon here, he will do this. If there is no deacon, there's the priest, but he has to be down there getting the gifts. And when he comes back up, his hands are full. He has the ciborium. So right away you have to start setting this up instead of starting with Mass. So the proper way to do this
Is wait 1 second. You guys come up here.
Oh, good idea.
I want you to stand like in a circle around the deacon. The smallest people closest to the deacon so you can see the best. Charlie and Patrick on either side. Come around this way, guys, too. Come. Get up nice and close. Hunter, you're kind of the shorter guy. Get up high. All the way up on the step. All the way up. There you go. Everybody needs to be able to see.
Everybody can see.
Okay?
So when this goes down, and the reason I'm saying this is because they don't, in between Masses, they might use the same corporal, right? Clearly there's not enough time to wash it in between Masses. So if you're serving, for example, at the 7:30 Mass, it might still have some crumbs from the 5:30 Mass. Or if you're at the 11:30 Mass, there might be crumbs from the 7:30 Mass. So you open it very carefully, like this, just like that. And the cross is here. Okay? And not important that the cross be here, but this is the right place for it. If the cross is up here, you're probably going to make the priest go and flip it around. Okay, so the cross. If it turned out, it's happened, that the cross is in the wrong place, I fold it back up, and I do that, and then I do the process again. Now this time for sure, it's going to be backwards because I did it the other way. Okay, but the cross should be here. Now again, I know this one is clean. One thing you never do, and I see people, okay, let me put it back. I've seen people who should know better sometimes. When they open it up, they do this, like that. If there were any crumbs in here, they go fine. So you never do. This is called showing the flag. Don't show the flag, okay? The same thing putting it away. You don't do that first. Right? It gets shaken out in that special sink in the back, and it gets folded.
They don't ever have to fold it back. No.
If there's no deacon here, will the priest assist? Because when I'm not here, I don't know what happens. He'll fold it. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So all you have to remember is if there's no deacon, you need to unfold that carefully. Can we have somebody try it?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you do that. You go
Patrick
next.
will do it. Well, let Patrick go.
Okay.
Now you're going to be able to reach all that, right?
Perfect. That's exactly, no, don't lift it up. That would be what you stop and do. You don't need to fold it back up. When you're done, you need to fold it open and you walk away. Go get whatever else
Now
needs
you
to
can
go
fold it
on.
for him so he can try it. So now when I'm not here, I don't know what goes on, obviously.
Well,
So what the preferred thing is for them to do. They're going to put the corporal
Corporal
out.
has to go out, so one of you put the
Put the
corporal.
corporal out. The Paul can go, yeah, that can go back on the table. That'll be there, but we don't use it.
Fonda, you want to try to open it up? Yeah. No, just like they did. Notice it's
Now, you see it's coming out backwards, right? So you stop already
What do you do?
and flip it around.
close it back.
And you see it's not, you want to be in the middle, so this is the middle where the plaque is.
Compute.
Fold it up again, fold it back,
Back up, all the way.
like you did. It's okay. Flip it around. There you go. Get it more toward the middle here. Still not quite the middle, but that's all right, I guess. You see, you're too far. It's too far to the right.
I kind of do it by
You see, Hunter? You see how it's not in the middle?
I know.
And they'll put it here.
Right.
And they'll take this one, and they'll put it here, and then they'll take this, and put it, and they'll take this one, and they'll put it here. And what happens when I walk up, or when Father walks up, the first thing he has to do is take them and get them on. Right? So just leave them. The job is, once you bring it up, this is how you find it on the credence table. You bring it up and you leave it. And remember, one of you, of course, but this is no, you know this, one of you will go and get the book too and just put the book. Father Sebastian does not like to use the stand. He just wants the book on the altar. If we have a visiting priest, sometimes they like to stand because it tilts it, so it makes it easier for them to read. We have a visiting priest, you got to be a little flexible.
So Cyrus, you bring the book up.
Yeah, just like that, no stand.
Deacon, purification, or corporal. Right here. And where does the book go? Usually slightly slanted, or?
Yeah, what's going to happen, this is fine, because usually when he brings the book up, the corporal is not set up yet, okay? And once the corporal is set up, I know Father Sebastian likes the book really close like this, even on top of the corporal. And he puts it very close to him. So,
If you just leave it on the corner.
just
like
leave it
that.
right there,
Perfect.
it's fine. Like,
Okay.
just leave it like that.
All right, one last thing I know we need to do, and then we're going to need to move on, is a change that everybody needs to know about. And this is at communion time. Can I have 3 sacristans pretend to be EMs?
You guys
Yes.
maybe go.
Okay,
you know.
you guys, you 4 right there, Josh, Max, John, and Daniel. Go stand down there like me, because you're altar servers.
I'm not the first kid.
The rest of you altar servers, come over here.
I mean, you're all altar servers.
You're all altar servers, but today you're just, you guys are serving at this mass we're pretending to have. That's okay. Okay.
We're going to make a change with the way you guys go to communion. The reason for the change is because while he's getting to do communion, already people are starting to come forward and we're getting a little bit of a backlog. So what's going to happen is instead of Father bringing you communion where you are, you're going to go, when the ministers come up, you're going to line up, I guess, in front of that front panel there, and you'll be the first to receive, but you'll get online like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So let's try.
So Father receives the Eucharist, the EMs will move up to the sanctuary. When you see them move up, you're to walk over here.
Keep in mind, Phyllis is right here.
Okay, stop, Max, stop here. And you guys can kind of move close, stay in line. Okay,
Okay. So,
right, receives first.
right. So if Hilda's handicapped, so he has to bring her communion, and she sits where Mrs. Kohler is sitting. So make sure, otherwise you're going to have to move out of his way.
Now, if you're at a different mass, and that's not the case, but most of the time, many times, the person who's sitting right here probably needs served first.
So what's going to
Stand
happen
back a little bit,
is
like you did it.
the ministers will get communion, receive communion, they'll get the cups and so forth and go to their stations. And then Father, instead of going come down and stand where he would normally stand to give out communion.
First is good.
And first he'll go to Hilda, this is where the handicap person sitting here. And then you guys come up and receive. So receive, and if you receive from the cup.
And then the next part of the line will continue.
So do you all agree this looks like it's a smoother thing to do?